So friends, for any of you, and I'm sure this is all of us here, who have had to wait or to toil or work through anything that is worth keeping or worth achieving, you know that endurance is an important part of reaching your goal. The same, then, must be said of our faith as well. Our faith is not one which demands that we win, or one that demands we realize neither immediate satisfaction nor even victory. Instead, our faith expects that we endure, and in that enduring time, that we love. This can point to a difficult path, though. Love is a difficult path. It doesn't always present itself, and it certainly doesn't always lead to a beautiful day of waiting. Sometimes love requires us to slog through times of shame or times of regret, times of anxiety, and maybe even times of fear. That's far from what most of us would like. Am I right? Yes, I know. And it's certainly far from what many of us have been told the victory in Christ should be. But you and I know truth. Love sometimes is a difficult path. But this is the Christmas season, Ken. Why are you saying such thing in the midst of the beauty of the season? Well, because, honestly, love is a difficult subject, but that's what the coming of Christ presents. Why difficult? Well, because loving can be a difficult thing. Have you ever had a situation in your life when you had to forgive someone? I imagine so. Now, I'm not talking about forgiving someone for walking off with your pen, or because they forgot your anniversary, or your start date at work or something like that, or because they don't like the same things that you like. I'm talking about something that was done to make you question that other person's regard for you. Now, if you have forgiven someone, you know that it's a difficult thing to work through. That hurt, that feeling of being cut off, or that feeling of being abandoned. Were you able to forgive? Were you able to truly live through the pain, to endure the feelings, and then extend forgiveness, grace, and mercy? If you did, you were achieving a level of understanding of love that few people can attain. That's one part of the path of love that's difficult. Now, you know this to be true, and you know the biblical significance of such an ability to forgive. For every month, on our first Sunday, we celebrate the coming of a person who is able to forgive though he knew of the great betrayal yet to come, who lived through the pain of being betrayed, and who was then killed because of betrayal. And yet, while he hung by his wrists and nails through his feet, nailed to the cross, the Christ prayed for our well-being and our forgiveness from the one who could have wiped our existence from this earth due to our uncaring. And our Maker, my friends, still yet can do that. But have you ever been on the other side of an event? Have you found yourself caught by your mistake or your unthinking? Have you ever done something wrong and felt the pain and shame or abandonment that your wrongdoing has caused someone else? There are many responses that we can have when we realize that we've done this. We can deny that it ever happened, and we can attempt to just wish it away or ignore it. We can blame someone else. We can even blame the person that we have wronged. But we can take another path, though. When we're in that time and we realize how bad we feel about our behavior, we can resist the temptation to remove the pain by quick and easy methods and instead endure the path of love. Approaching someone and asking their forgiveness can be a harrowing experience. It's humbling and it's even at times frightening. But in the name of love, and not in our name, we must do so. And with the right heart, we must continue to do so, if possible, with compassion for the one that we have hurt. What happens, though, when you attempt to right a wrong for which you have done, and the other person has difficulty accepting your amends or your apology or your request for forgiveness? There are many responses to this also. Some of them include yet more denial, or even anger at their refusal, or simply more abandonment. The temptation to do this is great, and we must resort to the special gift that was brought to us on that first Christmas: love. It's more important as the one who has done wrong to learn a lesson and to live a life changed by love. Even if someone can never muster the courage to forgive. Let me say that again. It's far more important as the one who has done wrong to learn a lesson and to live a life changed by love, even if someone can never muster the courage to forgive us. Now, does this situation ring true for any of you? Have you ever felt the pain of being wronged? Hello? All right. Have you ever, though, remembered the pain of hurting someone else? It's an inevitable event in our lives, and sooner or later, lives, it lives through one of the many responses we can have to such an event. It's just part of being a human, right? We hurt each other. We don't always mean it. Sometimes we do. But we hurt each other. And it's this being a part of a humanity or the human person. It's about being a member of community when we find ourselves hurt by someone or hurting someone else. And for the meaning of Christmas, the coming of God into the world, to have true meaning in our lives, we must embrace the difficult path of love. Now remember last week, if you were here, and we named them again today, there are 3 candles lit. Do you remember what the first one was? Hope. What was the second? Peace. And then our third one? Okay, so those have a meaning for the place that they're in. They're building up to Christmas Eve and then the birth of Jesus and the coming of his light into the world. For first, in order to, at least in the first place, ever have any meaning, we have to have hope. There must be something wrong first in us to have hope in order for us then to move along and have a dream of something better. So that's why we light the hope first. We have hope that something's coming. And then peace. Peace in the sense that an answer is heard and it's out there. That we know that there will be a resolution. And then there's love. Love, this difficult path that I speak of, that we need to be inside of at all times. And what's the last candle? What do you think it is? Joy, exactly. Hope, peace, love, and joy. So out through the path, going through it, enduring it, rather than going around it, we walk through this path. Because at the end, the reward is joy. Joy in reconciliation. Joy in the realization that we haven't ignored either our pain or the pain of others. That we have recognized it and given it its due. And the joy of relief, or the joy of reconciliation coming together again, the joy of being whole again. That's the path of love. It's really wondrous. Well, we celebrate the season of Christmas because we've been given the gift of Christ in our lives. The Christ brings us a new way of life in love. Yes, we are the benefactor of love, which we should celebrate. And for the endurance that Jesus would have in his life and on the cross, we are a changed people. That's what we're celebrating. The birth of someone who cares for us so much that they endured for us. How do you feel about the coming of Christ's birth? Now, I feel that we have taken, and I feel about this not just in our church, but in general, I feel that many of us take a whole lot of time in celebrating what our United Church of Christ statement of faith calls the joy of discipleship. A lot of us really love that part. We celebrate our gift from God in Jesus. But now I ask, let's celebrate and observe what comes with that joy of discipleship by living the other half of our discipleship, which is, anybody know this phrase? The cost of discipleship. Yeah. You can't have the joy without the cost. I know that sounds sort of harsh at times, but it's not that Jesus doesn't love us anyhow, but for us to really live a full and whole life, one of integrity, one of knowing one another really well, one of loving, we have to take a path to joy. And that path is the cost. And it doesn't really cost that much. The cost is us just being real. Of just accepting, okay, I did wrong. Oh my gosh, I have to admit it. Or, oh my gosh, they hurt me so bad. I don't want to let them off the hook. But I don't want to go without them in my life anymore. This is the path to love. It's finally setting everything down and becoming whole again. So I pray that we pass the gift that Jesus brought to us. Let's have endurance in love. It's a difficult path sometimes, and it has to be learned again and again. You say you know how to live fully? Well, God constantly has a new lesson for us. So next time when you say Merry Christmas, and I think you're allowed, what the heck, it's not Christmas yet, we're in Advent. I don't care, go ahead and say Merry Christmas, all you want. All right? There you go. Right, exactly. And do so then with a smile. The merriness is in understanding this path, that there is a hope, that peace will be brought to us through love and ultimately joy in knowing that we were real and that we really cared. So do it with a smile, and within that smile, mean it, and every day, live it. So as we celebrate and we have a good time this season, let's not forget the responsibility and endurance that this gift that we're celebrating is going to bring. Love asks us to receive and to give. I hope we can have endurance. So I pray that we do. I think you're worth it, every bit. And I think I'm worth it as well. So my friends, may you be at peace. We have a beautiful song to sing now.